In 1971, the United States made a decision that changed money forever. It happened on a quiet Sunday night. No riots, no war, no market crash, just a television announcement. And in less than 30 minutes, the world's financial system was rewritten. On August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon went on national television and said something that sounded temporary. He told Americans he was temporarily suspending the convertibility of the US dollar into gold. Temporary. It was never reversed. That night, money stopped being tied to gold, and the modern financial era began. To understand what changed, we need to go back. For centuries, money was backed by something tangible, usually gold. Under the gold standard, every dollar represented a fixed amount of gold. If you had $35, you could exchange it for 1 ounce of gold. This system created discipline. Governments couldn't just print money endlessly. If they printed too much, people would demand gold, and the vaults would empty. Gold was the anchor. After World War II, the world agreed to a new financial system called the Bretton Woods Agreement. Under this system, the US dollar was backed by gold. Other countries pegged their currencies to the dollar. The dollar became the world's reserve currency. America held most of the world's gold, and the dollar became king. But power creates temptation. In the 1960s, the US was spending heavily. The Vietnam War, social programs, expanding government, all of this cost money. A lot of money. And instead of raising taxes dramatically, the US printed dollars. The problem? There were now more dollars in the world than there was gold in American vaults. Foreign governments started noticing. France, under President Charles de Gaulle, began demanding gold in exchange for their dollars. Ships literally arrived in New York Harbor to collect gold. America's gold reserves began shrinking fast. By 1971, the math didn't work anymore. There were far more dollars circulating globally than gold available to back them. If everyone asked for gold at once, the system would collapse. On August 15, 1971, Richard Nixon closed the gold window. He said it was to stop international speculators. He framed it as protecting the American dollar. But what really happened? The dollar was no longer backed by gold. It became fiat currency, money backed only by government trust. And once the link to gold was gone, there was no limit. Governments could now create money without physical restraint. The 1970s were chaotic. Inflation exploded. Gas prices surged. The US entered a period called stagflation. High inflation, low growth. Gold prices skyrocketed. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. By 1980, it was over $800. The dollar had lost enormous purchasing power. But something else happened too. Global finance expanded like never before. Debt grew. Credit markets exploded. Stock markets rose over decades. And central banks gained unprecedented power. Since 1971, global debt has increased exponentially. Asset prices have inflated, and financial crises have become more frequent. 1971 marked the beginning of 1987 crash, 2000 dot-com bubble, and 2008 financial crisis. And each time, the solution was the same: print more money, lower interest rates, increase liquidity. Here's where things get interesting. Some economists argue leaving gold saved the economy. Why? Because strict gold backing can cause deflation and limit growth. Others argue it unleashed uncontrolled debt and inflation. Gold supporters say money should be hard. Modern economists say money should be flexible. Both sides have valid points. But one fact is undeniable. 1971 changed everything.
The collapse of the gold standard teaches us something deeper. Money is not gold. Money is not paper. Money is trust. When trust is strong, fiat works. When trust weakens, currencies collapse. History shows this again and again. Empires rise, currencies expand, debt grows, confidence fades, and then something breaks. In 1971, gold stopped backing money, but money never stopped backing power. And ever since that quiet Sunday night, the world has been running on faith.